everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and today I am reviewing a new app. It's at least new to me. It's called MOTOSUMO, and I ended up being contacted by somebody at this company to review this app for them. I am not getting paid for this, but I did receive the premium subscription service for free for this. So it is a semi-sponsored video. You can take with it what you will, but that's my disclosure statement, as they did approach me about this, and I thought, wow, it's a free cycling app. They have live classes. I'm going to try it out and see what I think and be able to share it with you guys and give you guys my honest opinion. You guys know in any of my review videos and things, I'm just completely just me. Nobody's gonna tell me exactly what to say. And I actually really liked the person who contacted me from the company. I was like, is there anything you want me to specifically make sure that I mention or test out or anything? And they said, well, I want you to test out the live classes, but we have watched some of your videos. We trust your content. You know, you're going to give it a fair shake. And that's totally what I try to do. I try to point out the pros and cons of everything. Even when I really, really like something, like you guys know how obsessed I am with Peloton, I still have some negative things to say about them as well. I want to make sure I'm pointing out the good, the bad, the ugly about it and give it a real trial. So I ended up trying out this app. I ended up taking 3 classes throughout it. I did 1 on demand and 2 live classes, and the bread and butter of this app definitely seems to be the live feature or the live classes. So I just jumped into a class. It was like, I don't know, it had started like 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier, and it was a longish type of class, and I just hopped right in, and immediately like they're saying hi to me. There were a few people on the ride. I did a whole initial thing. I think I was like totally right after the ride. I sat down in front of the camera all sweaty and talked about it a lot. So I will insert that footage. All right, totally got crazy here. I'm still sweating. I ended up going and switching their laundry and then coming in here, and I'm still sweating, but I had a really good time on my first ride. So I'm going to pull up their app and I'll compare it with the Peloton stuff. So what I did is I saw there was an actual live ride happening at the time. It was like halfway through and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll ride for like 20 minutes or so. And so I set up the live ride. I got my drink and stuff and got ready and then got on the bike. And so the app was running. Their app was running, but my bike hadn't started yet. When I got my feet strapped in, I started the Just Ride on the Peloton screen. And so their mileage was way off from my mileage. They just assumed I had been pedaling that like extra couple of minutes, and I wasn't. So it's just a little different. So I ended up taking 1 ride. Let's see if I can find my information. 1 total workouts, there we go. So I did a Wednesday workout, and they have me clocked in at 20 minutes. The Peloton app had me clocked in at 17 minutes. So 3 minutes difference, and it had me basically have a mile by then, which is about typical. As far as stats go, I'll show you guys up on the screen what it is showing me. And I really like that there's like numbers and achievements and things, but there are some things that are just with their premium app, and you can see those things blocked out for this. I will be trying out their premium app in this video as well, so we will be able to compare the free one to the paid subscription one. And so far, like, that's all it shows you. If you click on it, it'll say, you know, you can start your free trial. You get a 7-day free trial to try it out. But yeah, for now, we're trying out the plain one, not the premium one. So I can't see any more details aside from duration, estimated distance, and calories. And when I was in the actual ride itself, it did give me a chance to connect a heart rate monitor and connect a power monitor. So you can get something to hook to your bike. It doesn't matter what bike you have. You can get this Bluetooth enabled thing that will track your cadence, like track your RPM. So this could be really, really accurate with a power monitor that connects to your bike and also a heart rate monitor. You could definitely get pretty accurate metrics on this. So I'm actually really impressed. It looked totally like a video game because he was all like purple background. I was trying to see like who I rode with. He said his name at the end and I didn't catch it. When I saw that there was a live ride, I just clicked it. I didn't even like read anything about it. Okay, Leroy, that's what he said. So Leroy Mapp, M-A-P-P. So I rode my first one with him. I really liked him. I liked his energy. I found that it was really hard for me to decide like what resistance to go on. He was like climbing up a hill out of the saddle when I got on to the class. And so I put it on like a 50, 55, and that's usually my out of the saddle resistance. But then he was saying, you know, this is going to be heavy, put it on a 4. And I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. 4 out of 5, 4 out of 10. I have no idea what resistance we're talking about, because 4 on a Peloton is nothing, you know, it goes 0 to 100. So we're way off as far as numbers connecting. And then he said, at resting, you were at a 1, which makes sense. I would just do like 35 on the Peloton. So it's quite different than the resistance on the actual Peloton. So that part would take some getting used to if you are switching from a Peloton situation to this app. But I feel like most people, you know, if you're going for the, what I would consider the budget app, the free app, I don't think you would have any problem with it because you're probably not using a Peloton bike. Like, let's be real. If you're trying to go the budget way, you're going to buy a different bike, a cheap power monitor, a cheap Bluetooth monitor, and use the free app and be set. And I could totally see this being a situation where it would totally work. Like, if you want to go complete budget-friendly option, that would totally be a great option. So my thoughts going into it so far is I don't know that I would pay for the premium of this app when the free app offers so much. Like, the live class was awesome. I'll talk about the actual class itself and like how the screen worked in a minute, but I couldn't see myself paying for the monthly subscription when you get a lot for free. Like, you can jump into the live classes, you have the on-demand classes, you just don't get a whole lot of metrics, and it doesn't track your like total distance and stuff. So you can't really go in and check all your metrics and stuff. And I feel like most people don't really care about all of that stuff. So I could see this, you know, if you're choosing between, you know, a Peloton app and this app, I would totally choose the free app here if you're trying to like be the total budget friendly. But if you're choosing between a paid app, just like the Peloton app is 14 bucks with taxes and stuff versus their premium app is $19.99 a month, that's a big difference. Like, you can get the Peloton app and it has way more than just cycling. You know, it has yoga, strength training, outdoor runs, indoor walking and runs, and all sorts of treadmill stuff. And at some point soon, it'll have rowing as well. It's got yoga, it's got meditation. It's a ton of stuff in the Peloton system. So if you're looking at all of that stuff for $14, you know, give or take a little bit with the tax, versus their premium app, which is just strictly cycling for $20 a month, I would choose the Peloton paid version. Just apps to apps, that's what I would choose. If you're looking for like the cheapest one, you know, if you're just doing cycling, their free app totally has a lot to offer that I think is worth it. If you're trying to do a really budget conscious option, if you already have the Peloton bike, but for some reason you have to cut the subscription because it's $45 a month if you have the bike, because you have lots more metrics, you have the leaderboard and lots of things in the bike system. If you're having to cut down on expenses and stuff, you already have the Peloton bike. If you're choosing between switching to the Peloton app for the $14 or going to the free one, I would totally go to the free one. And then you would save $45 a month versus, you know, the 30 bucks between the bike app and the app just on your phone. I don't see this as something that's going to replace Peloton. I see it as something you could either use with your Peloton if you're cutting expenses and cut out the Peloton subscription. Or if you're going complete budget using a budget bike and you want to get like the cheapest option out there and get some good exercise, this would be a great option. So I was really impressed with it. So as far as the class goes, I have some screen caps. I'll throw them up on the screen as I'm talking about them. I just screen capped like during my class a bunch. So for one thing, for most of the class, there were only 3 people on the class. It was a live class. I hopped in the middle and there were 3 of us. So he said my name a lot. He was like, "Go, Sammy." He was cheering me on, and that was really freaking nice. For a free app, people like drool all over themselves trying to get a live shout out in the Peloton thing. You know, you're dealing with hundreds, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people that are on the live ride with you in the Peloton app. So you definitely have a much higher chance of getting a shout out on this app. He said my name like 10 times during the 20 minutes I was there. And I thought that was pretty neat. Like, it really felt much more one-on-one than on the Peloton app. It was like being in a video game. Like, he was there with this like glowing background, which looked a little bit virtual. So it totally had this like video game vibe for me. And I really thought it was neat. It wasn't as like, gosh, sometimes I feel like the Peloton videos are so overly produced. They have like multiple camera angles and it just seems a little bit over the top for like being just a cycling class. So I liked that it was just like bare bones. Him on the screen, no camera angle switching, just him like right there on the screen. I really liked that. I liked also, you could see like metrics on the bottom. You can see your RPM. Of course, mine was estimated because I didn't have a power monitor hooked up to it. It gives you your distance, your time left, and your calories. And the one thing I will say, the gripe about the time left is it is just in minutes. So you don't really know how long you have left. You don't have the seconds on that. But the one thing I do like about the timing is if he's like, okay, we're gonna push for the next 35 seconds, it's a bar up on the top. Like on this particular screen that I'm looking at, it says 1 minute, 1 second, like up at the top, and it will count you down for all of your pushes. So if there's like a 30-second push, it will have a 30-second bar up at the top. I absolutely loved that. The Peloton app just counts down everything, and it's not like counting down your one push that you're doing at the time. So I really liked that. I found that the emojis and stuff were a little bit distracting. I tried them out. Like I you know, entered some of the emojis, you just touch down at the bottom bar and they pop up on the screen. I found it really distracting when some people were going nuts, like pressing a ton of them, because it's just like popping up on your screen, and that I felt was really distracting. So there may be a way to turn that off. Of course, this was my first time jumping in. I don't know if there's a way to turn it off, but I found that very distracting when I'm like trying to push. And then also there's different things. It says you, overview, members, and it shows you like competing with everybody, because the one I did was like an endurance game. So they did make it like gamified and people were ranked on it. And I thought that was kind of fun. And then there's also, you can see the members on here as well. So you can see who you're competing against. At the end, you did stretch just like Peloton rides. Everybody stretches at the end. And then I think, I'll show this up on the screen with the 3 hearts. I think that's when he's pressing emojis. Like it'll pop up big on the screen when the instructor is pressing the emojis, because that happened a few times throughout the thing. And I think that was him. And then at the very end, you get this screen. Thanks for joining. See you next time. It gives you their handles and stuff for everything. And then you were done. It shows your like final distances and calories count. And then it was done. So I found that it was a really fun thing. Honestly, when I was first contacted, it's like, oh, I'll give it a try, you know, a free thing. It's not going to be anything like the Peloton, but I'm actually impressed. I definitely see this as a viable free option. Have the app on your phone, be able to connect it, set it in front of whatever bike you have. Probably not Peloton if you're going like the freest version possible, but I see it as a really nice alternative. After trying 3 rides, I'm pretty impressed with the app. Now, is it Peloton? No. Will it replace Peloton for me, who I'm super Peloton obsessed? No. But I can see this being a very crucial, very important app for a lot of people. And I find that it definitely has a certain, I can't figure out what word I want to say with this, but it definitely has a certain like people that it's going to attract. And that people just happens to not be me. It's just not entirely my cup of tea. It definitely seems to maybe be geared towards younger folk. And I'm not that old, but I also feel like I'm pretty old school because I didn't grow up with social media. I didn't grow up with technology. I had my first cell phone in high school, and it was like a, you know, one of those like Nokia cell phones, not the big giant ones, but you know, like the smaller ones. We grew up with the Razor phones. I didn't get internet in my house, like a Connect AOL internet, until well into like elementary school, late elementary school, or even middle school. Like I wasn't raised on technology. I wasn't raised on social media. And now, you know, kids these days, people younger than me have been on social media. And I feel like it definitely is geared towards a little bit younger of a niche than me. And I say that because it definitely has this very social media type vibe to it. It's got the emojis down at the bottom, which are fun, but I found that like it was distracting to me because I'm not used to it. You know, I'm not always on the Twitters and the TikToks and all the Snapchat things and none of that. I'm not on any of that. I'm definitely an old fogey when it comes to it. I do YouTube, I have Instagram, I have a Facebook, and I only basically use Facebook for keeping up with Peloton groups at this point. So I'm just not really big into social media, and this definitely feels like that. It feels like that social media thing. It has the emojis. You can leave little emojis for everybody and things are popping up on the screen, and it definitely has that sense of like grabbing your attention and making it fun and exciting for people and giving you that little dopamine hit. And I just did not go with my personality, where it's like when I'm on a ride, I'm focusing like hardcore on what the instructor is saying. There's not generally a whole lot going on the screen, and also I can like swipe any of the screen metrics and things away if I don't want to see any of that. So that part is probably the only thing I say that's just personally not my taste. Now, as far as the rides were awesome. I really felt like I got a good exercise with them, and I was actually surprised. I was really going into this app, I was thinking, oh, these are gonna be like super duper easy rides because, you know, I do Peloton. Well, I got my butt handed to me, and I definitely felt like these instructors were going a million miles an hour sometimes. They were pushing really heavy resistances, and I was really impressed with the level of the instruction, and they also were doing the exercises with us, so I definitely felt like they were nice and fit, motivating. I first ended up riding with Leroy, and I really just liked him. I really think he's a great instructor. I rode with 2 other people who were also pretty good, but I could totally see myself riding with Leroy a bunch of times and really enjoying it. So I just find that I really just love the Peloton thing. I tried a bunch of things on Apple Fitness. I liked it okay. And then when I found Peloton, like I was obsessed and that was my thing. So I think this is a really, really good alternative. If one, you don't want to pay $1,000 or $3,000 for a bike, this is a great alternative. Buy a bike on Amazon for a couple $100, use their free app, done. You know, you're ready to exercise, you're ready to cycle, and you'll get a really good exercise out of it. So that's like number one. That's who it's for, I feel like, is people who, you know, they're on a tighter budget or they just simply don't want to spend that kind of money. And I understand that. It took me a while to warm up to purchasing the Peloton bike because it is so expensive. And then you, on top of that, you have to pay the subscription fee, which ends up being like $45 a month. After all is said and done, they raised the price a tiny bit recently. And that's a lot, you know, that's a lot to give up. And not to mention I spent so much on the bike to begin with, and it's just a lot. So I understand why people wouldn't want to do that. And that's one reason why when they contacted me to review the MOTOSUMO app, I was like, heck yeah, you know, it's a free app. They do have a paid version, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, but it's really, you know, number one for people on a budget, people who don't want to spend that much on fitness. And I totally get that. It took me a long time to decide if I was going to buy just a cheapy Amazon bike and use the Peloton app for like 15 bucks, or I was going to go the whole Peloton system and bite the bullet and just do it and pay for it. And it is expensive, you know? And if it's coming down to like budgeting and we're getting tight on money or something, my Peloton subscription is going to be one of the first things to go. And then I could use an app like this. So I see where it definitely brings value, and I wanted to talk about it to you guys. I was really impressed with how the app worked. I really felt like it was really intuitive how everything worked, and they have a lot of live classes. I was impressed with how many live classes I had to choose from. They're all throughout the day, and actually Leroy has a class coming up in 5 minutes. It's a 45-minute class. They're easy to hop on there. It's easy to see what live classes are coming up. You have a little schedule up at the top, and it's really intuitive and easy to use and play along with. And I just found that it was a fun app. They do make it fun. The one thing I will say is I personally wouldn't pay for the premium over the free because I feel like you get so much with the free. Why would you spend the extra $20 a month if you're trying to do the budget option? I would totally just go the free one, and I'm sure that's not what they want me to say in this video. They want me to say, oh, the premium brings so much value, but that's just not what I think. I think if you're going the budget route, you're going the free version. And let's say, you know, you're on a budget, you want to pay for one app and one app only. You got a cheaper, more reasonably priced bike. I say cheap, and that doesn't mean cheap. There's still a couple $100s, but if you're going like the cheaper route of things and you don't want to get into the Peloton ecosystem, which goodness knows, like there's lots of weird things going on with Peloton right now. I don't blame you for not wanting to buy into the Peloton system, but if you're going that route, I would see paying for the Peloton app, which is like 13 something a month. It ends up being about $15 a month, or going their $20 app. I feel like theirs is a little bit too high because Peloton offers lots and lots of different types of classes. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of on-demand classes. And I feel like this app, when stacked up, where you're paying $5 more per month for this app, I just don't see the value in that. Like basically $5-ish a month more than the Peloton app. And I feel like the Peloton app just offers so much, even if you're getting it for the $15 a month. I just feel like that part of it is a little bit overpriced, but I mean, they do offer great stuff. They offer tons of live classes. The one thing I think is really awesome about it is they do offer so many live classes. Of course, if they become as big as Peloton or a big name app, then there will be more people on the live classes, and that means you won't get a shout out. But when I was taking a live class, I was like one of 2 in one live class and then like one of 4 in the other live class. And so they said my name quite a few times. They're like, good job, Sammy Whammy, keep going, Sammy Whammy, mentioning my name a lot. Now, if that is something that motivates you to have somebody and it feels like they're your personal coach cheering you on, this is the app for you, guys. It was really good. I don't know how many times they said my name during the class. I wish I had like kept track, but it was pretty regularly where they're like, come on, Sammy, you can do it, you know, cheering me on, that type of thing. And I found it really motivating. I pushed myself pretty hard in the live classes. I don't know how it works as far as if the live classes go on demand, because it feels like they're on-demand classes. They specifically say, this is an on-demand class, make sure you take our live classes. That's how at least the on-demand class was for me. So I don't know if they are recorded at the time and then like you can watch the same ones later. I don't know how any of that works, but I found that there was a lot of live options to choose from. Not quite as many on-demand classes as I'm used to. You know, I click into Peloton and there's like thousands and thousands of classes right there. You can filter through them and decide. I felt like their on-demand was not as prominent. Their bread and butter is the live classes, and I think that's totally where it's at. I think the live classes were awesome. I just find that the whole like gamified, emojified, video gamey type of quality to it is just not my cup of tea personally. I definitely feel like younger people than myself would find this app really, really fun and exciting, like being able to press the emojis and have them talk back to you. And I think the instructor is putting emojis up on the screen too, and it's fun in that way, and it's competitive in a way too. I find that it's very gamified and emojified and social media-like, and I find that a lot of people are gonna really be drawn to that, whereas I feel like I'm too old for that. So all in all, bottom line for me, I feel like this is a great free alternative, especially I was thinking like, okay, let's say tomorrow we have to go on a super strict tight budget. I have to cut my Peloton subscription. My bike might as well be any other bike out there. Yeah, it's like a premium bike, but it still won't show me classes up on the screen. So I would definitely be drawn to something like this where I could use their free app with my existing bike and not have to pay the $45 a month. I would just get this app for free and really enjoy that. I would definitely recommend trying it out. It's a free app, so I mean, the worst thing that happens is you don't like it and you don't pay for it anyway, so it's just a fun one to try. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. It was something new and different, and I was excited to be contacted by a different company and try out a different cycling app. You know, I went to Peloton, tried it out, really, really liked it, and never tried any other cycling apps, never tried any other cycling classes, nothing. So it was a good thing to try out and test out. And I do plan on still testing out the Apple Fitness one. I just never have done it yet because I loved the Peloton one so much. But when somebody approached me to try out something new, I was like, yes, I'm gonna try this out, tell everybody about it, and let them know how it goes. But anyway, hope you guys liked it. Thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.